Hey guys, this is Rob Paulson, and you're listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
So, what do you got?
Okay, here it is. Bit soup. It's like alphabet soup, but it's ones and zeros instead of the letters. Because it's binary. You know, binary is just ones and zeros.
Yeah, I know what binary is. Jesus Christ, I memorized the hexadecimal times tables when I was 14 writing machine code. Okay? Ask me what 9 times F is. It's 75. I do not need you telling me what binary is, just like I don't need you thinking about soup or taking pictures of it. I need you thinking about apps, software, websites. This is Silicon Valley, all right? Not Paris, Texas. That's where Campbell's soup is.
You are now on the inside of what I like to call the circle of trust.
We are all connected in the great circle of life.
You know something, Bert? What? I think you and I are going in circles.
It feels like we're going in circles.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Because it's a circle.
Yeah, we heard about the circle. Yes, we're familiar with shapes.
Hi, this is Chuck.
Hi, this is Greg.
And this is Dan, and we are Talking in Circles, brought to you by the Geekcast Radio Network, the podcast that's already ready for a reboot. This week we'll be bringing back one of our old games for the third time for us, the second time for you, because the second time, our infamous Almost Lost episode. But before we get to all that, how's the week been going for you guys?
Pretty good. I had a funny ride home today. I was sitting at a red light and I was behind a car and they had a decal in the back that said, "I love my big tatas." And it was a guy driving it.
Don't.
Nice.
All right.
And I'm like,
Chief Sweaty Man Boob.
There's a guy who's comfortable with his body. I would hate to drive that car.
The sad part is it's his mom's car, so.
She does have really nice tatas. I've checked them out.
I was cracking up in my truck, and I was wondering if the guy was seeing me in the mirror, too. He's probably all self-conscious, like, oh, damn it, I knew I shouldn't have brought this car today.
Damn, Mom, what the hell?
It should probably be something else, but some of the letters came off. It's like...
Yeah. He was an older guy, though. So...
Tautons.
He was an older guy, though, so I'm pretty sure he didn't really give a shit.
Greg, how's your week been going?
It's been all right, but the really stellar moment just happened actually a couple minutes, more than a couple minutes before we started actually recording the podcast here. I had some person, I have no idea who it is, try to friend request me here on Skype, because that's how we record these since Dan's so far away. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just press accept, and I am so glad I did. Here is a reading, a classical reading of my conversation with this person.
I think it's fair to give out the username, don't you?
I don't know. I don't want to piss anybody off. I'll just use the last part of the name. I won't give out the first part. So we'll start off with them. It's Cakes6. Hi there, smiley face. Me. Hello. Who is this? Cake6. Smiley face wave. Hey, I saw your profile on the new Skype app. I hope you don't mind me adding you. Question mark. 23 female here. You? Me. Really? I have a profile? I'm 29 male. Cake6. I'm kind of studying. I hate it sometimes. It gets so boring. What are you up to? Smiley face.
I think I know where this is going.
Me. What are you studying? Must be finals, I presume. I'm waiting for some friends to get on so we could talk because they live a distance from me. Cake 6. Miami, which was totally freaking random because I did not ask where she was from. I just fucking went with it though.
Why don't you just go ahead and answer questions that you weren't even asked? You know,
Right?
just go ahead.
It's like a bad 80s sitcom when the guy sneaks out of the house, so he does a recording thinking he would know the answers to all the questions. It's like,
all right, so it's back to me. I just went with it. I'm like, you live in Miami? You must be enjoying some nice weather. Cake 6. Laugh out loud. I'm studying for my bachelor's in sociology. It's really hard. Need a break though. You ever chat on cam? All of a sudden we went back to what we were previously talking about.
Fuck it, I don't care about Miami anymore. Let's go back to studying.
All right, so it's back to me. I haven't had the opportunity to chat on cam. What do you hope to do with the degree?
I love that that's where you go. It's like, oh, Cam, but college, so that's important, right?
I didn't know what to do at this point. We were so back and forth on why we were talking about it. It was like 5 different conversations going on.
I imagine the 40-year-old Asian gentleman that's doing that is getting really aggravated right now. It's like this.
No, he will get aggravated in a couple lines here, though. Cake 6. It can be fun. I love meeting new people on Cam Chat. You ever been on this new video chat site? It has all sorts of cool effects and stuff. Laugh out loud. Smiley face with sunglasses.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I'm totally into the video crap with effects and stuff. Me. What video chat site would that be? I'm very derisive there. Then she goes, Cake 6. Accept the invite. If you need the link again, it's, and then the link she sent me, which starts off with a name that starts with Juicy.
That's legit.
Totally legit. And plus the name of the site is Our Secret Cams, which sounds ultra pornorific, if you ask me.
That's the sociology study group.
Oh, it is. Then I go, no offense, this whole thing sounds a bit off. Cake 6. I think I'll just put on a camisole and a thong then. Smiley face. I think you'll like it. I hope at least. Mouth taped up face.
It'd be funny if you responded, ooh, camisole. What is that?
Camisole. Is it a cotton? I bet you that feels lovely.
What is camisole? Do I not? I don't know.
It's like a top, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. Maybe one of the lady listeners will chime in. Or ask your wife, Dan. That's always a good one.
Yeah, that'll be a great conversation. So, Greg, what's on talking to this random person about secret cams, and a conversation came up. It's like, what in the world is going on? I'm not having that.
It's most likely a dude who knows a lot about camisoles trying to convince him to go on this thing.
That's what they call Cammy for short. You never heard that? I mean, no, I didn't type all this.
My response is, I love women in itsy bitsy garments as much as the next guy, but brain number 2 does not rule me. This sounds like a trap of some sort.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. And then she responds with the link again, but instead of the name previously of Juicy, this time I got one that starts off with cute bubbles and a number. And then laugh out loud. Go here. Do you see my cam? Then I respond, that's not the same link as you gave me last time. Then Cakes writes back, and she sends a link. Now the name is Flirty. Then it goes on. Just accept my cam invite. And then I respond, well, that's the 3rd different link you sent me. This is some kind of scam thing. And then it responds, scam? What the fuck? That's totally an implied voice. And then I respond, 3 different links, which I find weird. You want me to know you were wearing sexy clothes? There's a saying about good things being too good to be true. Then she responds, I'm wearing almost nothing. Laugh out loud. And then this is the part where I probably pissed them off by going, I'm wearing almost nothing under my nose. The response is, KK, just click the accept button, smiley face.
You should have went back to the college stuff.
I don't know, I'm totally off.
How many questions are on that final? It's like...
It's been kind of late here. I mean, you probably want to get back to that.
Then I respond, yeah, you are way too overzealous with the accept button. And then she responds, oh, I think you might have to fill out some stuff. Everyone gets verified as being real on here. Keeps the creepy people away. Laugh out loud. Which she should be like, this guy's probably creepy right here. Because I only met him 2 seconds ago. So anybody can get onto this site. My response?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know you, and to just randomly accept things is not really in my nature, no matter how much skin is being promised. And then she responds, free, laugh out loud, read the fine print on that page, babe. I don't know you, why are you calling me babe?
And why is her things not at all related to what you're saying? It's like...
And why am I reading fine print? I never read fine print on jack shit. It says session is only... The way she put in the money thing, too, because she put $0.00. If you're a normal person, you are, like, saying it's free or is, like, $sign and just 10. Like, you are some, like, part of some corporation putting $sign 0.00. No one fucking does that. If a premium member invites you, which she apparently is, I've been a premium member there for a long time. Trust me, I know how the site works. I'm a webcam freak, laugh out loud. Of course she's a webcam freak. She knows that one so well because she works there. Then I respond, there's also a webcam on Skype, too. Duh, we could have talked on there. And saw camisoles and thongs and hairy ass cheeks from a man that's talking to me. He, she, it responds, K, yeah, I had to do the CC part, too. I don't know what the fuck that was about. Frowny face. That, how I got my profile verified as real. You don't get charged. It's free. Did you get in? Way too pushy yet again. And then
you also hate that question, so that's kind of...
And then you guys started to come online, so I was like, my friends are on now. Gotta go later. Bye. And then there's a final thing here. Well, if you must leave, tell you what. If you want to see me later on my cam, go to, and then it's a new one with divine lips.
Divine lips. There's so many ways you can take that.
That's for speech class.
Yeah. Just accept my cam invite. It's fast and easy. Okay, that one's a freaking line from an advertisement. Will probably be wheel, like WE. That's multiple people. Will probably be online for the rest of the day, so you can go and see me on my cam. Take care. So that was my interesting conversation tonight with random he, she, it on Skype, who I blocked at the end there. But it was fun for a little bit of amusement before you guys got on.
That is awesome. And Greg, by the way, I just sent you a link in the Skype window.
Okay.
It says sexy cam. Just, try it, see how it goes.
Okay. It says your username is Sir Spanks-a-lot. Is that you?
I just got knighted.
Okay, cool.
I don't want to tell you what the knighting process looks like. It's
Well, with a name like Sir Spanks-a-lot, I'm sure things got a little red.
So before you were knighted, you were just Spanks-a-lot.
Wow. So there you go.
I'm hoping you could follow up that with a interesting story yourself, Dan.
Yeah, I don't have anything that interesting, but I did on a completely different spectrum, not even related. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a big proponent of eating food from a truck. It can be somewhat dangerous, but also very rewarding. And then recently there was actually this thing in Baltimore called the Taste of Three Cities, which almost also sounds like a webcam. But it's what it is. It's like there's food trucks from Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Philadelphia all coming, and they all, like, it was in the parking lot of the Ravens Stadium.
Is one of the names of the trucks Divine Lips?
I hope not.
Because that also works for one of those.
You know what? It could. There's like a Divine cupcake place, but I don't know. I just got a lot of delicious food. Got some awesome buffalo chicken nachos, and this great this one place that puts everything in a waffle cone. So it's a waffle cone stuffed with French fries, topped with pulled pork. So it was a good, delicious time. So
sounds delicious.
It's I was proud to be American. So.
Did you visit the cardiologist after?
Proud to be an American.
But yeah, so no one came up to me asking me to join their jam chat though, so that was good. But yeah, I do enjoy myself a good food truck now and then.
Somebody walks up to you and they're like, "I'm in a camisole and a thong," and you're like, "No, you're in a parka. I can see you. You're right in front of me."
It's not how this works. I can see you in real life.
Join my webcam.
But yeah, that's about it. Besides that, Chuck, have you been up to anything else besides trying to prank Greg on Skype?
Wasn't me, I swear.
Wasn't me.
I haven't been up to too much this week. Kind of busy with work and different things, but just a couple of TV shows here and there that I caught, various times. But I do enjoy some survival shows every once in a while, like on Discovery and stuff like that. I know back in the day I was a fan of the Bear Grylls show, Man vs. Wild, and I think the other one with Les Stroud was Survivor Man or something like that. But I guess after those, they came out with Dual Survival or Dual Survivors or something, and that's what these two guys, Joe Teddy and Cody Lundeen. Have you guys seen this show at all?
I have not. Joe Titty.
I thought you said Joe Jedi. I'm like, that is the best last name ever.
He has an unfair advantage as a survivalist. No, it's weird. His name is spelled Teti, and I'm like, Teddy? I'm like, that doesn't sound tough. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Cuddle up with him at night.
Yeah. But it's funny because it's basically like they go to these locations, like every corner of the globe, kind of like Bear Grylls did, but they have to kind of work together, and they have really like opposing methods about how they go about stuff. Like this Joe Teddy guy was a military guy. I think he was in the Marines or an Army Ranger or something like that. So he has very methodical approach to survival and, very clear-cut ways of doing things. And this other guy, Cody Lundeen, is like he's a survival instructor, but he's kind of like, I don't want to say self-taught, but I mean, I guess in a way he is. But he specializes in like primitive tools and making fires and stuff like that, and like he's an expert in his own right. But the guy never wears shoes.
He's like Britney Spears. Does he also go into the bathroom with no shoes on?
No, but he takes a chair with him everywhere and he sits on it backwards. Just like the video. But
I'm kind of sad that I got that.
I am very thankful I did not get that.
Don't lie, you so got that.
It was actually Britney Spears that was writing me.
But yeah, this guy, like, he never wears shoes, never wears boots or anything, no matter where they go. They could be like in the desert, he's freaking walking barefoot, in the jungle, anywhere. And even when they go to like the really cold regions like the Arctic, the most he'll do is put on like a pair of wool socks and like walk around. And you can tell it really aggravates the other guy because like he's so strategic and everything with his military training, and it's just like so stupid to him that he doesn't wear shoes. And it's kind of funny watching like the interaction between the two. But I was watching a special on the other day about how these two guys had this big blowout after the one episode. They just got so pissed off at each other because this Joe guy thought that Cody Lundin was jeopardizing their mission because he wasn't dressed warm enough for their climate. They were like in Norway or something. It was freezing ass cold. And they got into this huge fight and everything. But they showed all the episodes like leading up to that, and they showed the camera crews that are with them and stuff. And it's funny because the camera guys have to do like the same stuff that they're doing. So you see them climbing up like a dangerous cliff or something, and it makes them look like really good, but the camera guy has to do the exact same thing.
Oh, jeez.
So it's kind of funny to watch, but yeah, they had this huge blowout and everything, and the Cody Lundin guy left the show actually, and they have some new guy on there now that they're going to be starting a new season this year with him on there. But yeah, it's entertaining to watch some of the tension between their opposing ideas.
Interesting. You've been watching anything else, or?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of another show. I don't see this show very much, but every once in a while I'll catch an episode. It's called Castle. It's kind of an old show. It started in 2009, but I really didn't hear about it until last year. And if you're not familiar with it, it's basically like this guy's like a writer. I think it might be in the pilot or something, but there's a serial killer that imitates the plots of this guy's novels, and he ends up somehow getting permission from the mayor of New York City to tag along with NYPD, homicide team, and they kind of tap into his knowledge because he wrote this book and everything, and then he ends up just kind of sticking with them through a bunch of cases, and it's a really cool show. I think like the main guy is from the show Firefly. I think his name is
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion, yeah.
Yeah, he's a fanboy favorite. So.
Yeah. But him and the female lead on the show,
was gorgeous.
Yeah, I've heard that. They have a lot of good chemistry actually on screen. Like it's pretty incredible actually. But at times it can get kind of over-explanatory. Like, I don't know if you'd call it maybe a little bit corny, but I think it works really well. And a lot of the ratings that I've seen online, like I checked it out on like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes and stuff like that, and it's actually rated like really high. It's usually like in the 80s, and it's pretty surprising. But they're on season 6 right now. I have heard that the first 3 seasons were the best, because they kind of toyed with the relationship between these two lead people, and I guess they kind of give the fans what they want, and that like kind of goes downhill after that. But I guess before that it was pretty great. But the one episode that I wanted to talk about a little bit was they had a superhero episode, and they find this corpse on a street that was cut in half by a sword, and there's like a witness that says they saw a man in like a superhero uniform or something like that saved someone else from getting killed. And they find out that there's this comic book, I think it's online, called Lone Vengeance, and they start finding like murders throughout the city that are mirroring what's going on in this comic book. And it's actually a really cool episode. Like if you're into comics at all or superheroes or anything like that, it's pretty cool to kind of combine that with like the police drama and stuff like that. And the guy Castle in the show, played by Nathan Fillion, he's like a huge geek in the show. Like he knows about comic stuff, so he's like referencing stuff and saying like, oh, this is just like that one issue of Spider-Man where this happened. And it's really fun if you're into comics, so I would definitely recommend like checking out that episode if you're interested on the show. The episode's called Heroes and Villains. But,
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Greg, have you been up to anything recently?
I've been reading Batman.
And Robin!
It's the
Robin the Chihuahua?
This version of Robin is probably more like, I'm Robin.
Oh.
It's Bruce Wayne's son, Damian, who's trying to be a little badass. I've collected 3 graphic novels. One's called Born to Kill, Pearl, and Death of the Family. It's issues, graphic novels 1, 2, and 3 that I've read through. I've really, really liked them. I like what they're doing a lot with Batman anymore. I just think there's great dynamic there with I've been really liking this new Robin, especially when Dick was Batman. Bruce is still a dick, but Dick Grayson, I just love this new Robin, which I believe, spoilers, skip ahead about 5 seconds. This Robin, I believe, eventually dies.
Well, they all die. That's
well, hopefully he'll come back soon.
They come back in the springtime. Every
he
year.
Just went south, Greg. Come on.
Yeah.
Batman's really good at killing kids.
So I just really enjoy this Robin because it's like having another Bruce Wayne around, but maybe just a slight difference. But he's definitely a badass Robin. And it kind of deals, I forget, because I read it not this week, but last week. I went through all these. I'm probably going to mess up a couple things here, but it definitely is a nice gradual running through of their relationship. In the first graphic novel, it's a little bit tenuous, and they're still trying to get together and figure each other out and find these rules. And there's a villain that kind of comes in and is trying to get Robin over on his side, because it kind of tells a little bit of the backstory of Bruce when he was still training and up and coming and training with this villain's father and the villain himself. And they were kind of training, and things went a little south. So this kid's father kind of died, and he blames Bruce and everything. And that's why he kind of comes back. And so now he's trying to take Robin away from Bruce, and you kind of think he does, but I guess that's kind of a spoiler. I should have put that in there. Sorry. Eventually, it kind of works itself out, and it's just a great coming together of the two characters. And then in the second book, the second graphic novel, it's kind of them getting together a lot better and kind of more fighting as one. But you kind of see more of Robin's relationship with the other members of the Bat family, and Robin's trying to prove himself now to them and kind of take his rightful place as the true Robin. So he's still maybe kind of trying to prove himself, but I think he's kind of proven himself to Bruce and kind of going through that. I really didn't think the villain was that important to the story. I thought his kind of minions were a little bit more interesting than the main baddie, but he was just kind of there, I think, to develop Robin along and kind of show that he is an important part. And then the last graphic novel, called Death of the Family, kind of has Bruce really accepting Robin and kind of going along with his things. And then Robin Damian becomes actually like this little Batman, which was kind of interesting. He's like a Batman Junior, and he's kind of got his own little cowls, and he's got Bruce Wayne over in Europe following these like a treasure hunt for things about his past and his family. And it's Damian, you could see, is kind of getting a little bit softer because he's doing it to deceive his father, and so he could go out and fight crime and yet again try and prove himself by being able to take care of things and be seen as an equal now, not just being able to take the Robin spot, but being an equal of Bruce. But he sends him off in these little things, but there's deceit, but he's doing things which Bruce has never really thought of with his family and whatnot, and there's always these little sweet gestures. And of course, Bruce knows it's all false, and that Damian's actually on a green screen projecting this over to Bruce. But then you have the added mix of the Joker coming in and kind of a little bit squashing the plans of Damian and everybody else, but Bruce kind of comes in and saves the day, but he's the Joker has kind of told all the Bat family members things that kind of splits them up a little bit relationship wise, that they've all kind of built at this point through the first, second, and a little bit of this book. So it kind of, where I've ended reading, it kind of ends on a low note, but the build up to it was so great, and I can't wait to see how they're going to try and resolve this and try and bring them back up to where they were before, or spoilers that Robin is supposed to die at some point. So we shall see and read and find out. I'm very much looking forward to it. All the Batman stuff lately has been really good, and I actually, at the comic book store this past week, I actually bought a couple more Batman stuff to read, so I can't wait to read that. It's the beginning of the Scott Snyder stuff, the Court of Owls and the City of Owls, so I can't wait to read that stuff.
I did I did read the Court of Owls, I did like that a great deal. So
yeah, I heard it's really good. I heard Scott Snyder is really good with the character, and Greg Capullo does a really great job drawing Batman and stuff.
Yeah, definitely recommend that.
Greg, was one of those that you mentioned one of the ones that you gave me?
Yeah, the first one, Death of the... sorry, I have mine over here. Born to Kill. These books are by Tomasi and Gleason, by the way. I just wanted to add that. But yeah, the first one is the one I gave you, because I accidentally rebought it and didn't realize it, so I handed it over to you.
I've done that before.
I've done it multiple times, which actually Dave gave me last one. He gave me this, it's this really nice book. It's nicely produced, kind of lists the order of all DC, and I believe, what is it, Image is there, or is it Vertigo? The second more independent comics for DC. It gives you a whole list in the order in which they should be read of all the graphic novels that they have out at this point, which I think is really freaking awesome. And I wish Marvel would do that, and I wish they would kind of do that with the order of the comic books too, for the whole storyline for the comics.
I do kind of have one for Marvel that's it's like a trade paperback and hardcover reading order list. That was put in like a book form, kind of.
Yeah, cool.
I'm not sure. I think I got it like a while back, so I don't know if they have like an updated version or not. But I wanted to ask you about the one that you gave me. I did get to start reading a little bit. I didn't get too far in, but I wanted to get your thoughts on just seeing, I guess, the different dynamic with Batman having a son working with him. When I first started reading it struck me a bit weird at first, because I think Batman said something to the effect like, I'll expect that in my next Father's Day card or something like that. Mm-hmm. And it hit me. I was like, this is a totally different side of Batman that I never saw before. It's kind of weird. I'm sure that kind of goes away as the story goes along, but I just wanted to see what your thoughts were on that.
I thought the dynamic was better between Dick and Damian, but after getting through that first initial, maybe halfway through or something like that of this first graphic novel on, it definitely is a better relationship there that I could kind of get more behind.
Yeah.
But Bruce definitely acts more of a father to Damian than any of the other Robins. I feel like the other Robins were kind of just being more trained than raised, if you ask me. So it's definitely a different dynamic.
Yeah, it's almost like, to me, obviously I haven't finished the book yet, but it's almost like it takes a little bit of an edge away from Bruce.
It definitely does, yeah.
It takes a little bit of that intimidation away from it, because, obviously the bad guys don't really know that, but, as the reader, you kind of know that, you see that.
Actually, the villains do kind of know that. If you read further into it with Death of the Family, that's kind of what Joker is talking about, in that he's become soft now because he has Robin and he has all these family members, and that he's trying to make Batman better by getting rid of them. So I think if you read on, you'll really enjoy what it kind of develops into with Death of the Family.
Yeah, I think Joker wants his old Batman back. You know,
He definitely does, and it's kind of a different Joker because he has his face cut off in this, and it's kind of just a mask attached to his skin is like a mask that's kind of attached to his face, and his personality's a little bit different than what we've seen. So, and he's not walking around in a purple suit; he's got like these garage coveralls on.
Oh, nice. But yeah, he's like he's the other side of the coin, you know. He needs Batman to complete him, I guess you would say.
Yeah, and I don't think he's Batman's. I think Batman's changing from that other side of the coin to something different, and Joker is not too happy about it.
Yeah, very nice.
Thank you, sir. What have you been up to and reading, Dan?
Well, I haven't really been reading much because reading's hard.
I'm sorry, you're the movie guy here. What have you been watching?
I'm not going to talk about a movie. I'm actually going to talk about a TV show.
Oh, you're total fucking me up, Dan.
I know. I'm just full of surprises. No, what I've actually been watching is it just ended. Its first season just ended on HBO, and that's Silicon Valley. It's this new show. It's actually written and kind of directed by Mike Judge. And if you know that name, he's the guy behind Beavis and Butthead, King of the Hill, but also Office Space and Idiocracy.
Hey, Butthead.
Yeah, that's it. And what Silicon Valley is, it's like an updated version of Office Space, but it's more about like the tech culture of current today, like the Google of today. And basically it's about these guys, these startup guys who one of them creates this algorithm thing, and it becomes this huge potential $1 billion project, $1 million project, and it's about basically that process. It's a comedy though. I really loved it, honestly. I thought it was really strong. A lot of great characters. It gets into that world, and just like Mike Judge really knows how to kind of add satirical wit to a lot of stuff, and he does that. A lot of great characters. Not really any big names. I mean, names that I was aware of were like T.J. Miller.
I'm aware of one of them.
Kumail Nanjiani.
Yes, because I listen to the Indoor Kids, even though I do not play that much video games. Their podcast is really fun. It's him and his wife. So check out Indoor Kids.
Yeah, it's on Nerdist. Yeah, Kumail Nanjiani, he's one of like the tech guys, and T.J. Miller he plays kind of like the wannabe Steve Jobs if Steve Jobs was also a pothead and part drug dealer on the side. He's kind of like a mess, but he provides most of the broad humor. The last episode, it was like basically this huge like tech conference competition where they're all trying to compete and like show off their new product. And it's just really funny because you see these people like with things that like talking about things that most people find boring, but making it feel so exciting. Like, we are changing the world with tech number crunching algorithms, and like they're just so, everyone's changing the world with every little type of technology, even if it's like just some sort of app that lets you find your car when you parked it in a garage or something like that. So I think it really kind of really depicts that world well. I'm not a tech guy, so I don't know how technology efficient it is, but I just found it very funny. And particularly the last episode, which has probably one of the best and most sophisticated and elegant dick jokes I've ever seen. It was really, really good.
I thought you were going to say dildo, and you came so close to saying it.
There have been a lot of YouTube clips of people showing it. I think it was even on Reddit. But I would see it in context of the show. It makes it even funnier. But I would highly recommend it. It's only like 8 episodes. Like I said, it's on HBO. Very good listen. It's only 30 minutes per episode. That and like Veep back to back, really great. Like Saturday night on HBO is pretty awesome. Game of Thrones and then Veep and then Silicon Valley. I mean, after seeing Game of Thrones and kind of all the death and destruction that has, and then you kind of need a show like Veep and Silicon Valley to kind of laugh it off and be able to go to bed at night. So.
Yeah, and on Game of Thrones, I don't think you need to click a creepy link to see some boobies and stuff.
No.
Or somebody in a camisole and a thong.
No, yeah, I don't think they have thongs because they weren't invented yet. But yeah, it's Game of Thrones.
Well, I think they had leather thongs back then.
I don't know. I mean, if they do, they'll find a reason. But yeah, Game of Thrones is not afraid of nudity per se. And if you ever saw the South Park episode where it parodies Game of Thrones, it's just I can't ever watch that show the same way again. That's
definitely two things I have to check out: that South Park episode and Game of Thrones.
I'd say see South Park first. I'm sorry, see Game of Thrones first, and then see that episode.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to wait for Game of Thrones to be completely over before I watch South Park. Gotcha.
Well, I mean, you don't have to finish it completely because a lot of the jokes I think are funnier, obviously, when you know the context of them. But yeah, that's what I've been watching. Like I said, highly recommend that. You should check it out. If you don't have HBO, I don't know, download it, I guess.
Or go to Best Buy or something, because those places are going out of business. Help them out.
Yeah, definitely.
That's probably what I'll end up doing.
But we're going to take a little bit of a break here, and when we come back, we'll be bringing back a game by popular demand, and that is Sequel, Reboot, or Destroy. We will see you in a bit.
Hello, geeks. Want a podcast that covers a vast array of topics with no rhyme or reason? Then check out Altered Geek Unlimited, where the topics fly more or less off the cuff. We cover media news, TV, our favorite geek products, and of course, your feedback. So get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks every Friday on the Geekcast Radio Network.
Every week on the In Session Film Podcast, you can expect to hear reviews on all of the latest movies, big films, small films, and everything in between. We'll also do top 3 segments relating back to our main review. We discuss all of the latest movie news and rumblings, as well as have movie series and other fun segments. And we always talk about the films that we're watching and why you should watch them or not watch them as well. If you want to learn more about the In Session Film Podcast, check us out online at InSessionFilm.com. You can hear our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, and so much more. In fact, you can listen to everything we have straight from our website. Again, that is InSessionFilm.com. Download our podcast, check us out, and come join us every week. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, and welcome back. And like I mentioned before we went to break, we'll be playing Sequel, Reboot, or Destroy. And for those who are joining this game for the first time, the basic premise is, we're in a land of constant remakes and all that great stuff. So what we're going to be doing is we'll be tossing out different types of movies, TV shows, comics, what have you, and we're going to be deciding, should we make a sequel to it? Should we reboot it? Or destroy the idea altogether and just keep it the way it is? So it will range in genre, and we had a lot of people last episode leave a great amount of comments regarding different shows we should be, or movies we should be mentioning, so we'll be throwing those out. I apologize if we don't get to all of them. We are on time here. We're also going to get to some that we talked about last time, but we weren't able to record. Anyways, on with the show. So we're going to start with one that wasn't recommended by listeners, but I think it's a good one to start with, considering we just got done with Godzilla a few weeks ago. We've had Pacific Rim. We've had, a different type of monster movies coming out. And this necessarily isn't a kaiju monster, though he did fight one at times, and that is King Kong. There have been multiple versions of King Kong. There was the original in 1936. You had the remake in the 70s with Jeff Bridges, Peter Jackson's. Do we make a sequel to the original or to Peter Jackson's? Do we reboot it altogether? Or is the world no longer ready for more King Kong? Chuck, I will start with you. What do you say about a sequel, reboot, or simply destroying the idea of King Kong?
Well, I think I did see the Peter Jackson one from 2005. It wasn't bad. There was a lot of extra stuff in it with all the dinosaurs and giant insects and all that kind of stuff. But I'm going to say I think we should reboot King Kong altogether. You could go one way. You could have him go against Godzilla again. Of course, you would have to scale him up a lot. Or you could give him his own standalone movie, something like that. But my idea for it's going to blow your mind. Make sure you're ready for it.
My mind's already blown. I'm sorry.
Were you just on that cam?
It was just that good, Chuck. It's already blown.
You must be a telepath. You read my mind before I could say it. I'm going to combine it with another movie franchise and call it King of the Planet of the Apes.
Nice.
Talking major crossover here. Really fun. I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool. Just combining those two worlds. And I know they're different studios. I'm sure they could make something happen, but
I think they're both. I think they're both Fox, if I'm not mistaken.
I think one of them was Fox and one of them was Universal.
Oh yeah. Well, Universal's kind of going downhill. I'm sure they could probably buy it from them. So.
Yeah.
But, that would be awesome.
Save us.
You know, it would be awesome seeing King Kong on riding a horse and just it's crushing it.
Oh, poor pony.
Oh.
The horse would be huge. It would be its own monster.
So I guess that's kind of like a little bit of both of a sequel and a reboot. Greg, what do you say about King Kong?
I like giant monster movies, but I've kind of seen King Kong over and over again. We all kind of know this story, so I don't want to reboot it and kind of see the same thing again. I kind of like Chuck's idea, so I guess that would be kind of a sequel, because I don't know how it would be clarified as a sequel, but I guess that would be a sequel. That would be all right with me.
It would seem that I did blow your mind.
You did, Chuck. You did. I don't see that ever happening, though. But I would kind of go with Destroy. We've already got two good franchises here. We've got Godzilla making a comeback. We've got the up and comer with our one of our favorites on this show, Gizmo del Toro, who we haven't said anything about lately, so we had to throw his name in there. So I think we have it covered. I think we could give King Kong a chance to cool off again, and we could get another upcoming generation of directors to tackle it down the road. So I think we could destroy it for a couple of years and then resurrect it from the Lazarus pit.
Yeah. I mean, I am tempted after hearing Chuck's idea to go with that, because I don't know, the idea of seeing King Kong either on a horse, like I mentioned, or carrying guns, like the recent Rise of the Planet of the Apes poster has me tempted, like King Kong meets Rambo. But I'm gonna have to say, yeah, I'm going with you. Destroy this idea. I love the original King Kong. Peter Jackson's was good. It over long, like Peter Jackson likes to make them. But I just think it's a little too soon for it. I think it'll just get kind of lost in the mix. So maybe in another 20 years or so, I'll let the technology advance a little bit more. But I feel like I'm still watching the last one. That's how long it was. So, but let's go on to another one. And we'll start with our very first listener suggestion. And this suggestion was given to us by Beyond Humor, one of our more constant commenters. And he asked, should there be a sequel, a reboot? I guess I should say he or she, I don't know. Should there be a sequel, a reboot, or should we destroy the idea of Lethal Weapon? Greg, I'll start with you this time. What do you say about Lethal Weapon?
I don't think you could do it with the same characters that they've had been going. So you can't do another sequel of that. First off, I wouldn't want to go see it because of Mel Gibson's infraction of being super racist douche. I'm not into that kind of shit. So that would kind of turn me off, even though I did like the previous Lethal Weapons movies, which now makes me feel dirty watching them. So I don't think you could do a sequel. But then I don't feel like you could do a reboot movie, because if you have anybody else in there that's not Danny Glover or Mel Gibson, it's not really a Lethal Weapon movie. It's just some other cop action comedy. So I don't think a reboot is actually a reboot for this. So I think you should just outright destroy it and enjoy what we have, because a reboot of it just isn't Lethal Weapon at that point.
All right, Chuck, what say you?
Well, honestly, I know there's 4 Lethal Weapon movies. I've only seen the first two completely, like beginning to end.
It's the only two you need to watch, so.
Yeah. I've seen parts of the other two, but not the whole thing. But I don't know. Maybe I'm not totally qualified to say this, but I think I'm gonna go a little controversial here, and I want to see a sequel. I want to see Lethal Weapon 5.
Danny Glover is way too old for this shit.
I don't know. I kind of thought they were great fun back in the day, and some classic police action, in the 80s style. At least the first two were. And we all thought Mel Gibson did great as a crazy, unpredictable lunatic. And then we realized he wasn't acting. So no wonder he played the part so well. But I don't know. I kind of loved them together. I thought him and Danny Glover had really good chemistry for some reason. I like Danny Glover a lot.
That's because Danny Glover was scared shitless of the man.
Yeah. It's like, do whatever you want, man. I'll just go along with it. And don't date my daughter. But yeah, I think they're not up to too much right now anyway, so I think maybe you could bring them back. Maybe bring on Gary Busey so he can talk to his pants. If you could get him away from the Amazon commercials, I don't know, and him and Mel Gibson can kind of spend the whole movie trying to prove who's more nuts.
And it would make $1 billion.
It probably would. I don't know. I think if they did it right, it would be fun for me at least. Anyway, I could see where people would definitely be sick of those, but I say bring on Lethal Weapon 5.
All right. Well, I'm going to take your idea of last time, Chuck, and I'm going to say we make Lethal Beverly Hills Cop.
I thought you were going to throw in Planet of the Apes again.
Yes, we removed Mel Gibson and we put in King Kong. So
Planet of Lethal Apes.
No, I'm saying we get rid of Mel Gibson, replace him with Eddie Murphy, and we have Eddie Murphy and Danny Glover.
Nice.
So I think that would be amazing. And so no, in all seriousness though, I wouldn't be against a sequel. Honestly, I did, like I said, the last 3 and 4 weren't all that fantastic. 4 was, it could have been better. I mean, they had to bring Chris Rock in just to kind of make things interesting. But
damn.
Would it be great? Probably not. Does the world need it? No. But I'd rather see a sequel rather than a reboot, just because it would be, I don't know, it would be really odd seeing a reboot. But
yeah.
That's just me. All right, on to the next one. Well, in this upcoming fall TV, we have a lot of comic book shows coming out again. We already have S.H.I.E.L.D., we already have Arrow, but we also are getting Flash, we're getting Gotham, perhaps a Preacher TV show, a Powers TV show. Tons of them are coming out. And one we almost had, but it kind of fell through, was Wonder Woman. We had one in the past, way back when. And we could take that one and we can make a sequel to it, maybe somehow connecting those dots. We can reboot it again, a completely new idea. Or are we just kind of superhero fatigued, and with, Wonder Woman coming out with her own movie, or at least being part of the Justice League, maybe TV's on the spot for her. I started with Greg last time, so I'll start with Chuck here. What do you say about a sequel or reboot to Wonder Woman?
Well, I will say I did get to watch the original Linda Carter Wonder Woman recently on TV. I watched a couple of episodes. It's on that MeTV, Memorable Entertainment Television. Pretty corny shit, I'm not going to lie.
I love the blunt approach, Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, that's how things were, those kind of shows, but clearly would not work today. But even the pilot that they were working on last year, or the year before, the most recent one there, it didn't seem too great to me. Like, I was kind of keeping up on the news and stuff, and like the costume just looked bad, and some of the ideas they had.
It looked like a stripper outfit.
Yeah, it just...
Like, if you go into any strip joint, there will be some girl in vinyl outfit. Like that shiny, super shiny vinyl outfit.
That girl on that supposed chat, probably had a more tasteful outfit on. So.
Thong and a camisole.
Which honestly is probably 90% of girls' costumes in comics. So.
That's going to be
Yeah.
our first product we're going to make with the Talking in Circles logo on it is going to be a thong and a camisole.
Modeled by Greg.
You can't get a t-shirt or anything. You can just get a thong or a camisole. That's how we roll.
We all have to try it on too. But yeah, even some of the themes they were going off of, like she was supposed to be a businesswoman by day. I don't know, lame to me, just didn't work. But I'm gonna say reboot that series. I think a TV show would work well if you made it serious, kind of like Arrow or something like Gotham appears to be in the trailers, what we've seen so far. But no corny running daintily or spinning around in a circle to change your outfit, or I want to see some kick-ass action and fighting choreography. Interesting villains too, like throw in some comic villains. Have a great costume that's tasteful but dark in the same way. Maybe cover some things kind of where she comes from a little bit. I think it would be cool to kind of reboot that, but do it well, do it right.
Awesome. Greg, what say you?
I agree with Chuck. I'd like to see it redone. I definitely think there's room out there for Wonder Woman. And I believe I saw online somewhere, and I'm going to look it up right now. I believe some of the concepts or somebody else had some kind of ideas for the costume. And I thought they were really good. There was one with a leather jacket that I thought was really nice, and the costume altogether looked really good, and hopefully I could find that for everybody so we could put up a link of it. But yeah, definitely get the costume right. I think the woman that they have playing in the movie looks good for the part, if I can remember, because it's been a while since I've seen her. She's a very pretty girl. Well, I say most girls are pretty, so I don't think you could really go off me, people. Sorry. But I would definitely like to see Wonder Woman. I haven't really watched too much of the old stuff, but I've seen the commercial for it on MeTV because my dad watches a billion westerns on there, and it definitely looks corny as hell. I tried to watch a couple old Batman, and those things are corny as hell. I remember liking them as a child, but now that I'm an adult, well, sort of an adult, yeah, it's super corny, and I can only take so much at one time. So they definitely have to do like some of the stuff Chuck said and make it more serious and everything. But it's a tough one because I don't think writers really know what to do with her in comics, in TV, in movies. I've heard a lot of discussions from people in the industry, listening to other podcasts like the Comic Writers Panel on Nerdist. Nobody really knows what to do with that character, so I think that needs to be figured out and be put on TV or movie or something, because I think Wonder Woman needs to be out there. I think there needs to be a good representative for women in comics. We've got Black Widow so far, and I'm hoping there's more of her too. So,
in more ways than one. I had to go there, of course, bringing it down. It's funny because when you think about Wonder Woman, Joss Whedon almost had a Wonder Woman TV show way back when, but it kind of fell through, which is kind of sad because that's one thing Whedon is really great at, is writing well for women characters. He does it in his show, he does it in movies, but unfortunately it never happened. Now regarding rebooting, we'll make it 3 for 3 because I do think rebooting a Wonder Woman show would be great. Yeah, I know she might be in the movies, but I honestly think it might be fine to take, Gal Gadot is not a huge star, so you can put her on TV. You can kind of break her in that way. And I think the way you treat it is almost like a modern day Game of Thrones. In that kind of vein, the warrior, the different kingdoms, maybe they're not in some sort of mystical land, but, taking similar themes that way, making her more of a badass. If you think of, if those have seen Game of Thrones, there's a character, Khaleesi. If you take a person like that strong-willed leader, add in a warrior aspect as well, I think that would be, the way to go with it. You kind of hit all the realms. Because I think the best thing about Wonder Woman is the more like fantasy side, the mystical side that you can play with. I honestly really liked the DC animated movie that they had. And I think that would be the best way to do a movie if they ever did it or treat it that way. We have like her, like the Athenians and and whatnot. So, in the Amazons and their issues with Hades and all that great stuff. So, I think there is a lot to go with. It is a really easy thing to make cheesy, like we mentioned. I've never watched the old show. I don't even know what Mead TV is. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Never heard of it.
I think it's only up here, to be quite honest. I think it's only up.
It's a Northeast PA thing. You wouldn't understand.
You say Mead TV, I'm like, is it like men's entertainment? And I'm realizing that's like 90% of television as is. So
it kind of is a men's entertainment because it is for older adult males that lived back in that era.
All right. Let's move on to another one. And let's take another listener suggestion, and that is from Andre Waters. And he asked, should there be a sequel, a reboot, or destroy the idea of Gilligan's Island, the classic TV show? And I don't even know if is Gilligan still alive? I feel like he isn't. Am I not wrong?
I believe he's dead, yeah.
So...
Because the professor just died a couple weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah. They never got off the island.
Yeah, I don't think... I mean, I guess there are some of the people that are still alive. I think, is it Mary Jane or...
Marianne.
Marianne.
Yeah.
I think... So, I guess you can technically do a sequel in some sorts. Maybe it's like his son or something like that. Obviously, you can't use the same characters, but... I don't know. I guess potential is there. Personally, the idea of doing it, considering the fact that, like we said, a lot of the cast has passed away, let's destroy the idea and leave Gilligan's Island as be. I think it was a good product for the time. I don't think it works now. So that's my personal opinion. Chuck, what's your opinion?
Well, Gilligan's Island's another one that's actually on MeTV.
Apparently we have a lot of people who watch MeTV that listen to our podcast.
Yeah. But that's a show that I never really got into. I've seen quite a few episodes just from like growing up and different things, but I mean it's slapstick. It's kind of funny at parts, but to me it was always overly goofy and just too far. And like you said, Dan, I don't think it would work today. And if you go changing the tone of it, you don't really have Gilligan's Island, and you have something closer like Lost or something like that. I don't know, but I gotta go with you, Dan. I would say destroy Gilligan's Island and just kind of leave it the legacy that it is, I guess.
Greg, what say you?
Yeah, I've never enjoyed Gilligan's Island. It's too cornball for me, to be quite honest. You don't have the main actors. I believe they are going to reboot this, though. I believe there's going to be a Gilligan's Island movie from what I've just saw perusing online. I'm not going to go see it. I'd rather just be like, you know what? If you want Gilligan's Island, it's right over here. But for the people that did enjoy it, I don't know who the hell does enjoy Gilligan's Island. But maybe for their sake, we could reboot it, I guess. I don't know. We're getting it anyway, so...
You like it or not, you get it to Gilligan's Island. You're going to take it and you're going to like it.
Exactly. Sooner or later, every show that was ever made will get redone, so, you know.
All right, let's move on to another one. And I know this is going to be a little bit of a touchy subject because it's one of Chuck's favorite movies of all time. It's one that I think we all kind of had admirations for. Constantly quote, one of the best soundtracks in the history of movies. I think it is the epitome of the 1980s. And that is, I have a need for speed. Not Need for Speed, but actually the movie Top Gun.
Fly into the danger zone.
Zone.
To the danger zone.
And if you're still listening, should there be a sequel to the original Top Gun, a reboot, or leave Top Gun as it will be? You know what, Chuck? I know this is one of your favorites, so we'll save you for last.
Greg, I was just going to say, let's keep humming the theme song.
Greg, do you still have a loving feeling for Top Gun? Should we continue it, or what say you?
I'm wondering if I have a love and feeling for my balls because I had to punch myself in the balls to actually get up to that high-pitched voice.
Oh, you sacrificed your kids to sing that. I'm so honored.
Yes. Just for you, Chuck. Just for you. There's not many people I'd give my balls up for.
It means a lot to me.
I think we could do a reboot of that movie. I'd like to see more planes, more modern dog fighting scenario. I don't. It's definitely not going to have the same vibe as the other one because there's Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer and who the hell's the dude that plays Goose? They added a lot to it and gave it that love and feeling that the movie does have, and which is great. But I think we could go for another one, and hopefully maybe they could bring back some of that love and feeling. I'm gonna just keep repeating that line because it just works with everything that I'm saying right now.
It does.
But I think you could do another version of that, and it could be something different but still enjoyable, and we still have that classic piece of Top Gun excitement that Tom Cruise was in back when he was actually good.
Top Gun 2, The Return of Goose.
I loved Goose. I was so sad when he died in that movie.
They find his body. He actually wasn't dead. He's an old man now.
And he actually went to ER and became a doctor. It was weird. All right. So, saving Chuck for last, I'll go with me here. And I know a lot of people hate Tom Cruise now. He's kind of become a punching bag ever since he kind of went crazy on Oprah and the whole Scientology and all that.
What the hell is his new movie supposed to be about? I have no fucking clue, by the way.
He made the same movie 3 or 4 times in a row in the last 3 years.
I don't know what this live, die, or repeat shit is about. Never mind. Sorry.
It's okay.
Every time I see that trailer, I'm like, what the fuck are you about? It tells me nothing.
Yeah. That's another. Actually, it's actually getting really good reviews. So I actually kind of want to see that pretty badly. I'm not going to lie. Because I'm an unabashed Tom Cruise fan. His personal life is kind of garbage. And I do think some of his movie choices aren't always the greatest, but I think he's still one of the last living movie stars. He has some really great action scenes. And no one sprints on screen as well as Tom Cruise. That dude, his run acting is unsurpassed by anyone.
I disagree. I'm gonna go with David Tennant on Doctor Who. There is a shit ton of running on that show, and they make it awesome.
I thought you were gonna say Triple H from Blade Trinity.
No, that was horrible running.
I thought you were going to say David Hasselhoff from Baywatch. That's some running right there.
I think I know what this means. We need to do a top 5 list of best runners on actors.
I don't know why that hit my funny bone so much.
In the background, we're going to be, and I run so far away.
I don't think David Hasselhoff can even stand up nowadays, let alone run.
Gotta love this Wendy's. Anyway.
That was so disgusting.
Back to topic. I don't even know where we started with that. Anyways.
It's a bad Carl's Jr. commercial that he was... Paris Hilton? Nope, we're going with Hasselhoff.
If that was a commercial, that's the best acting Hasselhoff has ever done in his life in the history of the world.
No, the SpongeBob SquarePants cartoon he was in was the best David Hasselhoff appearance.
Oh, I missed that one.
Don't know why I know that.
Anyways, back to the idea of doing a Top Gun. And I'm going to say what I was trying to get at was I'm all for a sequel. And I think the way you can do it is, Tony Scott unfortunately passed away. So you cannot get Ridley Scott to kind of do a love letter to his brother. One of his best movies, getting Tom Cruise back and Fat Val Kilmer. And and I think it'd be kind of a cool thing. You would see Maverick in the authoritative role or whatnot. I don't know. I think that would be interesting. I'd rather see a sequel rather than a reboot in some instances. So Chuck, it's come down to you. What say you about a sequel, a reboot to Top Gun?
Well, I would say if you're requesting a sequel or a reboot, negative Ghost Rider, the pattern is full. I've got to go with Destroy on this. obviously, in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, I'm content to leave this movie how it lies and not attempt any sort of resurrection for it. Obviously, today, if you did something, you can surpass the action kind of, but I don't think you can match the tone like Greg mentioned. Corny 80s is fun, but corny now is just bad. I mean, I know you could go with the more serious tone, but then I don't think you really have Top Gun anymore. I like your idea, Dan. I would love to see another movie like that with a similar theme, but I think maybe just don't call it Top Gun, because you're showing that expectation that people would have that same type of movie, but you're just not going to get it, in my opinion. So, but I do like those kind of movies, and the dog fighting and stuff like that. So I would like to see something like that, but I don't think I would tie it to Top Gun in any way.
All right, fair enough. And we'll end with this one, and kind of staying in the classic 80s realm. This might be one of the few films that might be even higher in the list of geek culture than that of Star Wars. And next year is 2015, and we know what that means.
Howard the Duck? You're going with Howard the Duck, aren't you?
Well, that sacred cow, Howard the Duck. No, based upon this franchise, next year means we are getting the Cubs in the World Series, Jaws 7, and hoverboards, of course, and that is Back to the Future. Yes, I mean, next year will be the 30th anniversary of Back to the Future, meaning that if we went back in time, the same amount of time that Marty McFly did, we would go back to the day that the movie came out, which makes everyone feel old, at least all of us. Yeah. So, the idea becomes, do we make a sequel to Back to the Future? In some instances, I'm guessing, there have to be some changes considering the health of certain actors. Do we make a reboot of Back to the Future, or do we leave it alone? Let Back to the Future lie. Chuck, since we ended with you last time, we'll start with you here. What say you?
I am looking for a Back to the Future sequel here. I love this trilogy back in the 80s. I mean, just pure fun. Doc Brown, the DeLorean, the nomenclature, the flux capacitor. I mean, it's just endlessly quotable, but I think it's too much fun to destroy it and let it be. I think time travel can be done really well now, and they kind of have a basis, already established of how they do it, but just the themes and stuff, the theories of time travel and how things affect timelines, I think they could make that work really well now. After all, it is the age of sequels and remakes, so I think they could bring back Christopher Lloyd, maybe use the children of Michael J. Fox's character, something like maybe Biff's kids discover the secret of the DeLorean and they want to go back and try to make their dad tough again.
Well, the fact, Tom Lennon looks just like he did as creepy 80s buff, so it's kind of crazy that they
the makeup department did an astounding job on that one. They freaking nailed it.
Yeah, he looks exactly the same. It's crazy. So
obviously, you can't have Michael J. Fox probably for the feature-length movie, but you could have a cameo here and there. But I just think there's a lot of potential. I think it's too much fun to let it go, because it's just one of those movies that's really fun. And with the technology and effects that they have today, I think that they could make it work.
Greg, what do you think?
I agree with Chuck about Back to the Future. I definitely don't think you could really get Michael J. Fox back. You could get him as a supporting cast member, a father and have a kid, like Chuck said. And I agree that there's just way too much fun you could have with that concept and everything. And I'd love to see Christopher Lloyd come back and hit up that character. And I'd love to see some of the changes that they would make, if they would stick with the DeLorean or come up with something new, or just have a train like they did in the third movie, which was really weird.
How about a Segway? That could be the
that. You can't get up to 80 miles an hour, though. You have to get it up to a mile an hour, Marty.
I think they should, whatever they do, they should introduce this character named Scott, because Doc Brown always says, "Great Scott." I think that would be
What?
I think that would be a funny little thing.
I definitely think there should be more of those movies out there.
Yeah, surprisingly enough, when I came up with this, I thought it'd be the only one that said, yeah, we should do a sequel, because I figured everyone would hate it and just say, no, don't do it. Yeah, you can't reboot it, because it's just, those characters are too iconic. And
too old and have too many health issues.
Well, I mean, if you got like new characters or try to do something else being Doc Brown, I don't think it works. And, you know, do we need a sequel to Back to the Future? No. But I think there is actually a decent reason to do it. Like, honestly, considering the fact that the Back to the Future was very much a product of its time, also kind of commenting on the 1950s. Well, I think it's like now that it's 30 years later, kind of doing that again, but be more of a time capsule of today and the 1980s. I think there's a lot of potential there, a lot of things you can tap into. And then looking into the future 30 years from now, what that would kind of look like. And we just don't have movies that are as fun as Back to the Future anymore. Just movies that are just pure joy. You know, it's not like ending the world. It's just kind of an adventure. Even like the movies that we love, like X-Men Days of Future Past or Captain America, it's all about like there's always danger. There's always some sort of huge issue. But like Back to the Future is just a lot of fun with, you know, your stakes here and there. So I would love to see kind of us get back to there. And I mean, seeing Doc Brown again would be great. I know there was like a cameo, A Million Ways to Die in the West or whatever, but I'd rather see Doc Brown in his actual element. So, but that'll be it for sequel, reboot, and destroy for this week. And if you agree, disagree with us, feel free to comment on the episode, and we'll go over all of the ways you can comment at the end of the show. But before we leave you, we like to end each episode with a letter. And this week, I'm going to be doing something. It's kind of a little bit of an editorial that I had in mind. We are in the thick of summer movie season. A few weeks ago, I kind of talked about the rules of going to the movies and all that great stuff, which is very true. And this kind of was spurred off for that in another reason. I recently read an article basically about movie criticism and movie critics and how it's a career that's kind of dying in a lot of ways. It doesn't really make money anymore. People don't read reviews nearly as much as they used to. And most sites really get their money and get their clicks from kind of garbage news stories like your TMZ stuff, your rumors, your stuff like that. You know, kind of negative entertainment is what really is thriving a lot of like movie world. And I think it's a really a big issue. And so I kind of had that in mind when I was those two ideas in mind was when I was getting into. So basically, if you enjoy movies, I'm just saying let's expand our horizons a little bit. So here it goes. Dear everyone, as you know, we're in the time of summer movie season. Blockbusters, explosions, all that fun stuff. I enjoy that just as much as you do. But there are opportunities to enjoy smaller, more intimate films. And it's actually easier than ever. A few weeks ago, I talked about all the different rules that we should follow going to the movies. Well, you can actually see great movies right now in your living room. And you can do that on demand. These are smaller, more independent films that don't get the big budgets like your X-Men, like your Spider-Man and all that stuff. But what they lack in budget, they make up for in imagination. I myself have been able to watch a lot of great films on demand. I've talked about a few of them on the podcast. Everything from The Double, a great film starring Jesse Eisenberg about a doppelganger, to something I recently watched called Trust Me, starring Agent Coulson himself, Clark Gregg, directed by him as well, about an inside look into the world of Hollywood. There are science fiction films like The Machine, which takes ideas Johnny Depp's Transcendence tried to do and does them right. And it looks amazing for a micro-budget science fiction film. One of the best science fiction films the United Kingdom has produced in quite a long time, and you can find it on demand. Now, I'm not trying to make a commercial for on demand. I'm just trying to tell you that there are great movies out there that you can get with a click of a button. And I'm a very big proponent of independent films. These are people who are trying to do new things, change cinema, challenge what we know. And unfortunately, they don't get the attention that they deserve. Luckily, we have people like movie critics who take these small films and try to lift them up and bring them to the wider audience. I myself do enjoy writing reviews. I'm not a paid critic. I didn't go to film school. I just kind of watch a lot of movies and listen about them and do that great stuff. I think film criticism is very important. Do I think film critics are always right? No. But I don't think the purpose of film criticism is to determine the quality of a film. I think it is an opportunity to produce discussion, an opportunity to better understand what makes a film good and what makes a film bad. Unfortunately, people don't really care anymore. We have things like Rotten Tomatoes. We care about the what, but not the why. We know that X-Men Days of Future Past has a 91% Rotten Tomatoes score, but do we know what those critics actually said about it? What they liked about it? No, not really. We just know that it has a positive score. We know what scores have negative scores, and we use the Rotten Tomato as this barometer of what's good and bad. But the truth is that a very great barometer? If something is 80%, but everyone gave it 3 out of 5, is that really better than someone getting a 50%, but having half the people give them 10s and half the people give them 0s? Is being decisive an actual accomplishment? I see it might be. But what I think we need to realize is it's not the what, it's the why. Why do people like things? Why don't they? And I'm saying this because we have people like Roger Ebert who lifted up my favorite films, and if it was not for him, I wouldn't have ever been able to watch them. Something like Hoop Dreams was a small independent film no one paid attention to. Wasn't nominated for Oscars. It kind of came and went. But Roger Ebert came along, lifted it up, and now it's one of the best known documentaries of all time. So I know a lot of people like to hate on critics, and they deserve a lot of it. But realize there's a whole entire large movie world out there for you to enjoy. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox and go watch the X-Men movie again. Sincerely, Dan.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
How much are we getting paid from On Demand for that?
Not enough.
Okay.
But yeah, this past week I've been able to write a few reviews, and I would go, check them out and see what you think. And it would just kind of get a little bit disheartening when, like, you see that the article about Kim Kardashian and her wedding is getting more play than anything else. It's just like, who cares? Like, why do we care about this stupid stuff? It's just kind of aggravating. Anyways, anything else before we bring this episode to a close?
I just wanted to say that next week, towards the end of the show, we're going to be doing something a little bit new and different that I hope everybody's going to enjoy. So keep an eye out for that. I'm really hoping everybody's going to enjoy it. I've kind of been working hard, and that's one of the reasons why I didn't do letter at the end of the show this week. Is I've been working hard on something for everybody. So
yeah,
fingers crossed for that.
We'll just say that the future is unknown. So
getting that webcam up and operating at full capacity, huh?
Yeah, we actually have a lot of special stuff going on next episode because we'll also be going back to school. Although summer starting, we kind of have a little bit of a special assignment we've been giving each other that we'll be going over next episode. So stay tuned for that. A lot of great ideas coming up.
Are we going to reveal what we're giving each other at the end of this so they can look forward to it, or no?
I think we could. Yeah, definitely. So what we did was we gave each other a homework assignment. I gave Greg something to watch, and I gave Chuck something to watch, and vice versa. We all did it for each other. Kind of spurred out of the idea of getting Greg to like Superman. So we'll see how much we accomplish that. But Greg, why don't you go over what you'll be watching and what assignments we gave you?
Chuck gave me, of course, a couple episodes back. He's been trying to get me into Superman, and I've been constantly trying to get him to read a book. But Chuck gave me Superman Red Sun, and Dan gave me to watch, I believe it's with the gentleman who plays Dwight Schrute, Rainn Wilson.
Rainn Wilson, yes.
I forget the name of it. It's
Super.
It's Super, where he is a super man that's being picked on, and he becomes a superhero type of thing.
Kind of, yeah. I don't want to give too much away, but basically it's kind of in the vein of Kick-Ass in a way, but much different tonally. But the idea of he's just an everyday guy who tries to become a superhero.
So I have those are my two homework assignments. Looking forward to Dwight Schrute a little bit more than Superman, but we shall see. I'll give it a fair shake.
It's kind of funny that I just realized both of your things are super, so that's interesting.
Because I'm super.
Chuck, what are your assignments?
Well, my assignment from Greg was to check out the graphic novel Old Man Logan.
My fingers are so crossed that you like this.
And I've actually already completed that assignment. That's right. I'm a do-gooder. I was always ahead of my homework in school.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I've already read Superman Red Sun.
I'm the slacker here, so you know.
And then my assignment from Dan, I believe I am watching. I think I'm going to be checking out the TV show Human Target. So be looking forward to checking that out. I have not completed that assignment yet, but lay off. I have a week yet, okay?
Studying gets boring, don't you know?
I have to, take breaks from studying and try to chat with people on webcams and Skype. It's exhausting. It really is.
We're going to call this episode Study Break. In my assignment from Greg gave me one of his favorite TV shows of all time. I think it was his number one, and that is Doctor Who.
That's right, people.
And I'm kind of thankful because I've been wanting to get into that for such a long time, so I'm appreciating that I have getting forced to doing it.
It is so good, Dan. And if you don't like the initial episodes with Chris Eccleston, at least try out the first episode of him so you can get kind of familiar with them. And then if you're not into him playing the Doctor, check out David Tennant, because he is by far my favorite Doctor in Doctor Who lore.
Awesome.
Oh, you can't give hints on homework.
Checking the answers at the back of the book.
You can't give out answers. What the hell, man?
And the thing, the show that Chuck gave me was actually Jericho, one of his favorite shows as well.
That's a good show.
Which my wife has seen, but I have not. But she has great things to say too. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, we'll be going over that in more detail. So it's kind of like homework of the good kind. But all right. But I think that's pretty much it for this week. And like I mentioned, there's a lot of ways to get in contact with us. You can do it by emailing us at feedback@geekcastradio.com. We're on Twitter and on Facebook. Just search Talking in Circles. I'm also on Twitter at Movie Revolt. And you can also comment on the episode post. That's where we probably get our most feedback by going to geekcastradio.com with its new layout and new design. A lot cleaner now. I think people seem to be appreciating that. But that's it for us for this week. We'll be back next week. Same time, same network, same podcast feed. But for now,
this has been Chuck.
This has been Greg, or Cake 6.
And this has been Dan, and we've been Talking in Circles. We'll see you next week. You said that all creepily. Cake 6.
I thought you said cake sex. I'm like, wait, what? That escalated quickly.
I did not want to see that webcam.
It's so delicious, but gross at the same time.
I got it on my face. Oh, God.
2 girls, 1 cake. What cake are they having? Chocolate, of course.
I'm
Neapolitan.
I'm proud of myself that I've yet to see that video, nor will I ever. So.
I have seen it, and that came out when we were in college, and I was in a class. It was a graphic design class, and we had the teacher for like multiple classes, so we've had him for a while. And so we were used to him, he was used to us. And me and my friend Andre were talking about that. I'm like, yeah, I accidentally clicked on it. It was awful. And the teacher...
I accidentally clicked on it.
The teacher came over and he's like, oh, what are you guys talking about? Oh, we're just talking about this video that's really popular. You should check it out sometime. And he's like, oh, yeah, really? And we're like, yeah, what's your email? We'll send you the link. And he's like, oh, and we're like, okay, we'll send it to you. And he's like, okay. We're like, yeah, it's really awesome. He came in the next day and he's like, you guys suck. That was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
So when you had to retake that class, how did it go the second time?
I want you to leave all of this in the recording, Dan. I don't want you to edit anything out. I agree with everything Chuck said, and I'm going to give a very important reason. I've really got to take a shit right now. I'll be right back. That is my reasoning behind why we should have another Back to the Future. Be right back.
Just grab a bucket and keep talking, man. What the hell?